Hey, what's going on, guys? So it's 2024, and I'm going to show you an account. I still have access to it. I managed it for about a year. So in March of 2022 to the end of March of 2023, I was managing a fantasy sports app campaign. This meant that I was optimizing for app installs. So although um, this was my first time, I approached it just like any other type of account, right? It's just basically marketing fundamentals. So I'm never really intimidated by any type of specific account as long as, number one, there's enough money to spend to get data. That's number one. Number two, it's a product that a mass market it's for, right? So there has to be something that the mass market wants. And so that's just something I've always looked at. If it's something that hasn't been tested and it hasn't been proven, um, it's always slow going up that mountain, right? It's just the fact. If a business has already spent between 200, 500, even $1 million plus on Facebook, it's easier to dissect because the business has already done all the work, right? So they are validating the clicks, they're validating the engagement. That's really number one. Do people want it? Are they engaging with the ads enough? And I've always preached that from the mountaintops. The focus of Facebook ads is number one is engagement. You got to get the engagement. If no one engages with the content, then guess what? That means nobody really wants it, or nobody is interested in wanting to know more about your product. Okay, so that's just something. Let me close my blind real quick. It's a bit bright. All right, that's a lot better. Okay, so this is an app install campaign, and we were working with a creative agency that provided the videos, and what I did was I created the copy. Now, before I got into this account, the owner said, "Hey, we raised $2 million, and we want to spend it on Google, Facebook, and then we even went to Twitter at the time. This is like right the last World Cup, okay? So it's right when Messi won the World Cup. So long story short, you can see here again March 22nd. I still have access to the account. Um, you spent over 800K in that year. So we were spending between 3 and 8K a day, right? And I even prove that to you. So this right here was quite interesting. Again, we were not able to optimize for the App Store. From my understanding, there was a lot of technical difficulties getting the data from the App Store that Apple has to Ads Manager. It was pretty challenging, but what we could optimize for was Android. That's why you can see a lot of Android around here in my campaigns. That's how I kind of named my campaigns. It was a certain type of naming convention. But long story short, again, 800K in spend and thousands of app installs. I mean, 6,000, 2,000, 2,600, and it keeps going on and on and on, right? Our most successful campaigns that we had were during the time when um, we had, what was it? It was football season in September, and I'll show you that in just a sec. But if you ever work with me and you see my past work before, I have phases of scaling, right? Phases meaning there's a phase one, then there's a phase two, and there's a phase three. And if the business is spending a lot and it has a lot of the main optimized result on the pixel, then we're able to do a lot of cost capping. Now for e-commerce, and especially for this one, I'm going to show you the cost capping in just a second because that's really where the rubber hits the road, right? Like you put the gas, you put the pedal to the metal, and it'll just burn, right? So what's great about that is again, and here's what I learned from my friend Jim. This is where I learned how to really, you don't have to have a lot of campaigns in order for your ads to be dialed in. What Facebook needs is a lot of the result that you're optimizing for, right? So for e-commerce, you have to have a lot of purchase data. And the way you find the purchase data, and I've done this many times with consulting clients and even those I've worked with on their accounts, is you go to audiences. When you create a custom audience, you create lookalike. When you create the lookalike, you select the source. Now, for e-commerce, it will pop open what is in the last 60 days, how many unique purchases your pixel has collected, okay? That's a big one. The next thing is the purchase value connected to those purchases, okay? So once you have that, and let's say you have over 2,000 purchases at a lifetime value of, or they say the AOVs of $100, 140, 150, whatever that is, right? If it's high like that, if it's 100, 150, etc., that is the opportunity to take advantage of cost capping. In this case, this is for app installs. We were generating thousands of app installs, right? And let me take you through what was going on during football season. Now, football for us was September 1st all the way to the 11th. Now check this out. Just from this time frame, we spent $74,000 on ads, right? And we were spending high, okay? There was a time, let me see, let me find one. Okay, so this one spent 37,000 in that time, right? So if I go down, let's see, where does it have the spend? Okay, we were spending high, but I want to find one where it was. Okay, so this one spent 9,000. So this was ads at ABL, right? This obviously you see that ads at budget, but this one, check this out. Oh, you can't see it because of the past year. Shoot. Okay, that's fine. But you can see clearly $250 is not going to spend $9,000. It was not. So let's say if I go to the 8th, you'll see, there you go. There's where you find it right there. Over here, 7,000. If we even go back to, like, to say the 3rd, during this time, there's AK right there. So during this time, the CEO, the founder of this business said, hey, it's football season. I want app installs. All right, what do you want to spend? Because we did have, I think, like a previous, let's say it was for August. What did we spend? We spent 42,000. Okay, 42,000. Now he was like, push it, push it, push it. Now here's the cool part is September is when we really started to push it. Literally triple, right? Quadruple the budget from 40 something thousand to 150. I mean, we were spending high. Now the beauty of having this, right? We already have over 1,000, right? We have 2,000 episodes here. You look at in the month of August, let's see, what do we get in August? So we're clearly like just getting app installs, right? And this is even in June and July. So in October, check this out. This is where it gets fun. October, same thing, 142. Now, what's interesting is let's go into the cost per results because you can see here I had 2,500 here, I had 500 here, but this is where it gets really fun. So when it comes to cost cap, again, right, we figured out what is, oh man, I hope this has the budget. Let's see. Okay, so let's kind of go here. What did I start this at? On the 23rd. There was one I was starting around the 19th. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Okay, so I set my cost cap around 29, 23. This was the time, I think I remember the cost per install was the lowest was $14,
Highest was about $29 or so. You got to find the sweet spot when it comes to cost capping. Sometimes, the campaign will not spend. Sometimes it will spend. Sometimes it's kind of like it's a mix. So, with that being said, I started this campaign on the 19th of October. So if I go to October 19th, we can see here, and I had it pretty high. Obviously, I can't see what the budget was back then, but it only spent, 120. The next day, it spent 300. Again, I got the app installed, but the cost per result was a bit high, right? I learned that you cannot freak out when this stuff happens. It will kind of go out of whack. It's going to happen. What's going on is the Facebook algorithm is still learning because you set a limit to it, right? And then it started to go down, right? So what was that previous day, the 21st? We had 118. We set it for the 22nd. Look, it went down a bit. 23rd went down again, right? It started to spend a little bit more. Let's go to the 24th. Look at that. Now it's trying to spend 1,739. That's okay. I'm not freaking out. And if you let's go from here to here. It started to spend, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't terrible. Go into November. Let's go from November 1st to the 15th. Let's see if it's still spending. Yep, and look at that. So this one from the 1st to the 15th, 22,734 app installs, $30. And at some point, it's like, okay, look, we are getting some pretty good results here. It went down to 27. The campaigns just need to learn, right, at the end of the day. And then even during this time in November, it was a pretty hot season because it was World Cup, right? And so I know I'm showing you cost cap, but the cost cap is basically, look, we have enough data, we have enough of what we want on the pixel. What is the time period in the last 30, 60 days of the best cost per result? And then we put that in for the cost per result, right, for the cost cap. Man, we had Spanish campaigns going on for FIFA. You can see here. Look at this. This was all FIFA right there. And a lot of these were on, if it's this one specifically, interest, but we had one that was all Spanish, and those were crushing it. Let me see. Okay, it wasn't these. There was all sports. Here, the Spanish. And I tell you this, if you're not advertising to a Spanish community, huge, huge opportunity. It was really fun. But anyways, yeah, this is again the whole idea of cost capping. So in this account, we spent a lot of money on fantasy sports. We went to Twitter. They said, "Hey, do you know Twitter?" And I'm like, "No." And they said, "Hey, well, let's get on Twitter." There's some guys that obviously they set the pixel up. They set what they were going to, set all the back end stuff for. I just set up the Twitter account. And what I liked about Twitter, I know we're on Facebook a lot, but what I liked about Twitter at that moment, and I haven't done anything since then, but I do know this: the targeting was a very, very powerful mechanism that they had. We were able to target Yahoo Sports, Yahoo Fantasy Sports, CBS Sports, CBS Fantasy Sports. It was really, really fun. Um, Again, the Super Bowl was coming up. Guess what we did? I targeted the event, the Super Bowl, and I targeted every single interest related to football at that time. And it was really fun, actually. We did get some results. Um, and so, yeah, this is something I just want to show you guys. Again, this is a really cool account. Again, you can see all the great stuff that we were doing here. Um, and yeah. So if you have a fantasy sports app, again, yeah. Look at this. So the 28th, we were going from 1,500. I had to reduce some stuff, but other than that, man, this was a really, really fun account. So, yep. If you have any questions about cost capping, let me know, and I'd be glad to break some more down for you. Take care. God bless.